You're listening to Radio Primavera Sound, proudly presented by Cupra.
Hello and welcome to Line Noise on what is a very special episode for me, and I hope for all of you too, it's an episode in which we got to speak to Jeff Mills, who, let's face it, you know who Jeff Mills is, I know who Jeff Mills is, but he is one of the most important men in techno, in dance music, and I would actually say in modern music itself. Jeff was in Barcelona playing the Live at Liquid Room Tokyo tour, which he's been doing, celebrating the anniversary of that classic album. And we got to speak to him just outside his hotel. We went to a little cafe. It was a fantastic experience. He's a really nice guy, really intelligent, very well dressed actually, and really kind of looks you in the eye when you talk, which I really enjoy. I had like 3 pages of questions, but we didn't obviously have time for all of them because we only had half an hour. But my God, I could have gone on for absolutely ages. What do we talk about? Well, we talk about Live at the Liquid Room, of course. We talked about the tour. We talked about making music every day. And one thing I really liked, we talked about dancing, because I think it's really important to ask DJs about dancing. Do they still dance? Does Jeff Mills dance? You will have to listen in to find that out. We sort of have had Jeff Mills before, when we did an interview with his incredible band that he has. What are they called again? Tomorrow Comes the Harvest, a brilliant band, so you can hear that. But this is Jeff Mills by himself on Line Noise. I hope you enjoy it. So it is a pleasure and even a privilege to be here with an icon of modern music, Mr. Jeff Mills. How are you?
Good, very good. Yeah.
You're here in Barcelona because you're celebrating the 30th anniversary of Live at the Liquid Room. Why did you decide to celebrate that album or to mark the occasion?
Well, it was partially because of what people were saying, how they were influenced by the recording. And when the mix came out, many DJs today were really at the beginning of their careers and just starting to DJ, and they really used this mix as a reference. And so it came about from noticing how many people were actually commenting and responding to this mix. It just came out of the blue. I think maybe someone started a discussion about it, and then it just grew and grew, and then so that's how I began to notice.
I was wondering what when you thought about doing this, if you had like a goal in mind of something you wanted to achieve. I mean, or was it simply celebrating, a vital piece of music?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was first. I received the invitation from Takeushino and Sony Music, and I think there had only been one volume before they had asked me. So they basically had a blueprint for what they were going to do. But then I started suggesting other ideas of what could be done. We could, I could do it live. We could film it. We could, record it with multiple microphones and the audience. We can really try to replicate not just a DJ mix, but actually the whole experience of being inside of a club and a venue. They agreed. It was just very, very early. This was like 90, 94 when we started the discussion. And DVDs were not new, but I mean, I think that format was not as widely used as it is now. And so the idea to put a DJ mix on a DVD, even with film and even in a surround type of, was still kind of unheard of. And so it was difficult to to get them to commit to making that type of DVD. So I just we decided to just release the 2-track recording, but I kept all the parts of it, the film and the multi-track recording and everything else. So.
And you're showing the film before you DJ. I'm interested. How have people reacted to the film? But I haven't seen it, but as I understand it, it's a film of you DJing. Do people dance? Do people sit down and watch it? Do people?
Well, they watch it because there's a lot of information. I mean, I was conscious of that. This film would be used before a scenario like that, and so I really wanted to put a lot of information, a lot of context into the documentary and explain what Tokyo was like in the year 1995. It was not really the height, but it was really heating up. And I mean, many international artists started coming to Japan shortly after that time, and it was like, just the best place to play for many, many years. And so I wanted to kind of explain what it was like. And the interviews with the journalists, we made it the questioning to kind of, for them to give an indication as to what Japan was like in 1995. What was the, and in comparison to other places. And so that's the main purpose. And so, it was to show basically a snapshot of what it was like in that city during that time, with these international DJs that were coming and introducing a lot of music to that audience at the time.
Well, that's one of the fascinating things about the mix. It's live at the Liquid Room Tokyo, to give it its full name. I wondered how different it would have been if it had been, say, in Paris or Berlin or Detroit at this time.
It would have been very difficult to materialize. And I know this because I was trying to materialize things in Europe, and people only just had the appetite to just party all night long, and anything outside of that was really, really difficult to convince other people to agree to. And so Japan was one of the places where I could materialize a lot of ideas. And Liquid Room was actually really one of the first more complex things. But after that, I would go there I would come up with ideas, very complex type of things, and take them to Japan first because I knew that they could materialize them. And so, and like around 1995, I was already thinking about scoring, music for films. I was already thinking about working with contemporary dancers and doing things outside of the dance floor construct. So, but it was really difficult at that time.
Are you a nostalgic person?
No, not really. No.
So do you ever listen back to old mixes or records you do, or is it always about the next thing?
No, it's always about the next thing. Yeah.
One thing I find interesting about DJ sets is that obviously a lot are recorded, but the vast majority happen in a room. You're there, or you don't see it, you don't hear it. Do you enjoy that sort of temporality of it? The fact that you've got to be there in the moment and then it's gone.
Well, I mean, I began my professional career as a DJ working for a radio station, and I used to produce a radio show all through the 80s, and it was the scenario of me basically in a very small room, playing live 6 days a week for about 6 million people at any given time. And so, that's really how I began to And so when you're not in front of an audience, you're very conscious about everything that you do. The moment, every second that goes by, it's different than being with an audience. And so this is really how I began my professional career. And then, of course, I was also doing residencies at that time too. But this idea of focusing and concentrating on what I'm doing is more important than actually in front of an audience. And so the end result for me is trying to make the whole experience more interesting as possible. And so for that, it takes a lot of concentration and making sure and thinking ahead, not just one record at a time, but maybe 3 and 4 or 5 records, or very far ahead of the audience. So it's more my approach is more it's more of a technical approach than just a casual host party maker type of perspective. So.
I asked some friends for a question to ask, and a friend of mine who's called Anna J. McIntyre, a very good visual artist. She asked a question which I believe you mentioned in an interview in an art magazine. And the question is it difficult to do what you do?
To be more specific?
I suppose, how difficult is it? I mean, on a very practical level, you've been DJing for years and years and years, but what you do is extremely technical. Like, how difficult is it to do what you do on in the DJ booth, for example?
It's not difficult at all. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not a contest, or it's not a competition of any type. It never was. And I never feel any pressure, because I understand music from perhaps maybe a different perspective. And yeah, I mean, no, it's not. I've never had. I mean, production-wise, DJ-wise, collaborations, or doing other things with orchestras or whatever. It's never any pressure, because maybe because I don't try to bite off more than what I can chew, and I don't pretend to be something that I'm not. And so maybe it was easy for me to make a mix showing exactly what I'm doing, because it's honest. So I don't pretend to be a great DJ. I don't pretend to be a great producer. I do the best that I can do, and whatever people think that is what it is. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't find any difficulty. Yeah.
I find it fascinating. Because a lot of people, I think, would like to be like that, where they have that kind of understanding of who they are and what they do. Did that come to you early on? Have you always been like this, or did you have to sort of learn to be like that?
Well, I think in anything, I mean, not just the entertainment business, but any job, discipline is necessary. You have to have a certain amount of discipline in order to be able to do the same thing, and if you can, improve it and enhance it as time goes on. Again, early in my career, I was in radio, and I mean, I was very young. And you can't be late for radio. You cannot miss. You would be fired if. And so, for me to keep this job on the radio, I had to, shape my life so that I can be in the radio station every night, no matter what, always on time. And I guess that carried over into other things. So producing music, I can be consistent because I can focus, and I can go all the way from the process from the beginning to the end and finish it. And that's quite important. And so when I finish it, I know that I can then begin to start on the next. And so, and I'm never on anyone else's clock or time frame for producing music. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you kind of work to try to alleviate and do away with the pressure points of being in the entertainment business as much as you can.
And I think you once said you make music every day. Is that still true? I think you once said you make music every day. Is that still true?
I'm usually dealing with music almost every day. Yeah, either editing it or recording it or listening to it for research. Yesterday I was listening to Devo, and I just got some new samples in of some new albums. This morning I was doing editing. I'll probably do some tonight. I'll probably play tonight, tomorrow. It's generally something to do regarding music.
Talking of new music, I was lucky enough to be able to hear the new Tomorrow Comes the Harvest album. And I just wanted to briefly mention Rashida Ali, who plays flute, correct?
Correct.
And the flute is absolutely gorgeous. I think particularly on the song Superstar. Is Rashida a new member of the band? Is that?
She's Rashida's been with the project for about a bit over a year, almost 2 years now. And she's been on quite a few performances. I wish that she could be on more, but she lives in the U.S. in Atlanta, and we are more frequent here in Europe. So it's not as frequent as I would like yet. But for sure, I really wanted to add her on this album because she's been with the project for a while, and she knows exactly what the project is about. And so so she knows that it's an opportunity to be able to explore and to do other things. And so what she did on the album, it was just great because she has the freedom to do that. Yeah, she's just incredible. I mean, the first time that I met her, I was convinced within seconds that this person is very unique, and so yeah.
I know you have to go to be on time. I just wanted to ask one thing, which I find very interesting to ask DJs and people who make electronic music. Do you dance?
62-year-old man. Yeah, I mean, I dance as much as a 62-year-old man. I mean, you have to, because you need to. When I'm in the studio and I'm recording music, I have to fill it out, and so sometimes to better understand the complexities of certain sequences, you need to move to it to understand what the dancer would do, or an audience, or what people would do. So yeah, of course, it's part of the process. You have to watch people dance, and you have to dance yourself, and you have to find ways to keep rhythm, whether it's tapping on table or having drumsticks, or you need to stay with it as much as possible. And so not just listening to music, but listen to music in different ways. Listen to music to study it, and listen to it to enjoy it are important. But keeping in touch with rhythm in general is, I think crucial. So I listen to a lot of hip hop. I listen to a lot of rock. I listen to things for the different styles of rhythm, old rock and roll, rockabilly, to gospel. To I'm studying for rhythm. Yeah. So
It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much.
thank you very much. Thank you.
You're listening to Radio Primavera Sound, proudly presented by Cupra.